Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are gonna be creating a Santa Claus pop-up card. Let's check the materials. You basically are gonna need mostly cardstock, and then you can use either vinyl or glitter cardstock. And these are all the different pieces that you are gonna need in order to make this card. I will leave more details on the description below also. Let's talk a little bit about uploading the cut files to Design Space. So you're gonna see 3 different SVGs files, and you need to follow these steps one by one to upload them. And then once you have the 3 SVGs, you select them all and click on Insert Images. Then I recommend to decrease the zoom percentage so you have a better view for all of them. And then you can kind of accommodate the images this way so you have a better view also. And the sizes are right there. So then select them all, and then you can kind of see what size do you want them to be, either decrease or increase depending how big do you want it, and you can kind of work with and then decide the size that you want. Then after that you need to start working with the cut and score lines for all those images who have lines, and the first thing that you need to do is ungroup them and then check those score lines that still say cut, and those need to be converted to score lines. So you select them and then click on score, and then they are gonna say score. And then the next step will be attach them to the image. Since they are already in one group, so you can just click on the group and then you can select attach. Otherwise, once you go to make it, the lines are not going to be part of the image. And you can see here the groups. So for the envelope, so you have to ungroup them twice because the second one has attached the white section, the belt and everything. And then again you have to change the lines to be score lines instead. So you select them and then go to score, and you will see the change. And also you need to attach them by group. And then I'm just sending it to the back so I can still see the front of the card. And then you can group them again in case you need to make additional adjustments. And then I can see here everything. I need to also convert these lines, the score lines, to a score instead cut. So I'm gonna just bring it over here, and then again I select the ones that said cut, that should be score, to be score lines, and I'm just gonna send it to back so I can keep the same order for the layers. And I'm gonna do the same with each one that has cut and score lines. We still to convert the lines to score and then attach them, or you can attach them first and then do the score part. Either way works fine, but you need to get it for every image that has lines on it. And I'm just here sending it to the back just to have the same order, but you don't have to if you don't want. So and then I'm just gonna select it and center horizontally, and I'm just gonna select these and put them on top so I keep the design as it is, as it was before actually. And I don't need to do anything with the face, so I don't need to do anything with the message ho 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 either. So now I can just go to make it to kind of take a look and see how all the mats and images look like and making sure that all those who have lines are attached to the images. And also this helps you to plan ahead and see how much paper do you need, so you can just do this step before you actually cut the pieces, just in case you don't have enough paper. So it gives you a chance to see how much paper do you need, what colors do you need, etc. And then the last step before you move forward is to save your project. So if you are not gonna make it right away, at least you have it saved, and then next time you only need to go ahead and make it. Now let's start the assembly process, the fun part. Okay, I'm gonna start with the base, and it's hard to see the score lines here, but I have the score lines as you will see on your SVG design uploaded. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mark the half, the middle of this section. So for this one is 2.5 inches based on the size that I made my car. I made my car a little bit big, by the way. I can share the size later, and then you can try to make it that way. So the sections that you need to mark are the first one and the third one on your base. And then that half that we made, it has to have this distance, which is 1.5 inches. So one way to do it is just mark it like this, as I'm doing. And the easiest way will be actually placing your piece just like this, exactly in the middle, and then you can go ahead and mark it like this. So you will need just to mark just the middle, and then make these little marks, making sure that they are actually center. Okay, that's why we still need to kind of measure this section on these pieces for the kind of like the chimney part, just to make sure that they are center. And basically what is going to give you reference is the score lines, so it has to fit exactly according to the score lines. I will try to leave a picture soon, so you can kind of take a look. So now I'm just marking these lines with my pen, because I'm gonna need them for the next step, which is basically building the base. And don't worry about these lines, because these are gonna be inside, so you won't see them. And then I'm just double checking again just to make sure they fit. So now I'm just gonna fold my base. And now you can see that this is section 1. Section 2 doesn't have lines, and then the section 3 has lines, and section 4 doesn't have anything. So now these two pieces are the ones that go next. So I'm just gonna fold them based on the score lines I have, and then it's gonna be exactly like this on top of the first line that I made, and align to the top of the base, just like this. And this little piece that I'm folding is the one that's gonna have glue. And I'm using hot glue just to make it faster. And you can see that they are aligned on top. And then I'm gonna do the same with the second piece on the second line that I made. I'm just cutting a little bit for that part that is being folded, just to fit the part that is gonna fold for the base. I always make it a little bit bigger because it's better more than less. So you may need to do that also. It will depends how big you make your card, basically. So now I'm gonna do the same with the other sides, and I'm again cutting those kind of excess just to make sure the base is gonna fold, no problem. And here's how this is going to be against the other lines that I made for the section 3 for the base. And here I just have to make sure that once I glue it or attach it together is right in the right place. Sorry, this part try to get it close to the camera, my camera moved. And then I'm gonna do the same with the other piece, just like this, making sure it's aligned to the top of the base, same as we did with the other side. And now I'm just gonna attach the two sides of the base. And I recommend, by the way, to use like a very thick piece of cardstock for the base, otherwise it's gonna look kind of fluffy like mine because I use a thin cardstock. Didn't think about it until I actually made it. So now the base is pretty much ready, and I can see that it's folding very well with any problems, because it's part of the things that it's gonna have in order to pop up once we get it out of the envelope. So now I'm gonna start putting all my pieces following the order. So I'm folding the corners again, and we can also cut them a little bit if they look too big, and as I mentioned, this will depend on how big you make it. And then these pieces have cut lines where they are gonna be. So this one is gonna be on the first cut lines that you will see, and the borders have also to be aligned to the top of the base to have the right height on each layer that we are adding here. And then after that, I just have to glue these parts to the base. And if you use thin cardstock, just make sure that when you glue these corners, that side of the base is straight. And now I'm gonna do this one. I'm just checking here, and I'm just double checking, and it's folding with no problem. And I'm checking everywhere because this is the first piece, so I need to make sure it's right. So now I'm gonna do the same with the second layer. I'm folding the corners, cutting them a little bit, and attach them to the second cut lines for my base. And again, these pieces need to be aligned to the top of my base. And then I need to glue them once again, same as I did with the previous layer. So I'm adding glue, and then making sure that side of the base is straight before I actually glue it. And you know that hot glue gives you seconds, so it's better to make sure you kind of calculate it right away, and then once you have the glue, just check quickly and then boom, you have to glue it. You can also use normal glue, and that will give you more time. So I use pretty much hot glue on my videos because that helps me to move forward quickly and I don't have to wait. So now I did the same with the third layer, and then I'm just gonna glue it again. So now I'm gonna do the same with this part, with this layer, sorry. I'm folding, cutting these pieces just a little bit because at this point I'm getting less space here available for me to work with, so I don't want to get in trouble with the last piece. And it's not that I don't have the space, but I just want to make sure all my pieces breathe without problem. So I'm just cutting a little bit for each corner just to give a little bit extra space on those areas. So now I'm gonna glue it. And again, needs to be aligned to the top of my base. So now this is the last layer that is gonna make the card looks like it has like Santa Claus is stuck on a in the chimney. In or on, I don't know how to say it based on the position of Santa Claus here. But anyways, so with this piece it may be a little bit tricky to put it down, but it will be just because the space is getting smaller or tight, but you should be able to put it down, no problem at the end. And then here I will need to glue this piece, but before that we are gonna do a couple things. So this is the piece that goes on top, but this is the one that is gonna open. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna cut a nail that is gonna make this piece to open, so you can see the Santa Claus face when you open it. So I will leave this part up to you, and that's why the design doesn't have the cut right away, but if you want to do it, so you just have to make sure that it's below the piece there. So I'm just gonna mark it right here, and if you have questions for this part, please feel free to leave a comment or contact me through my Facebook page, and I will be happy to help you if you need to in order to get this cut. And the picture that you will see in a couple seconds will show you how this cat is gonna look in the back, so that will give you a reference also. So I'm just gonna cut my L, and this part that I'm marking now is the one that is gonna fold as, you know, kind of like a door opening, just like this. Oh, I have something here. Okay, and now we are gonna work with the face, because if we have the top layer already there, it will be a little bit more difficult to place the face. So I recommend to do this, to create the face before you actually place it there. This piece needs to be aligned to this one, so make sure those little corners fit the hat. I'm also using that foamy dots here, but you don't have to if you don't want to. You can just glue the pieces instead. But if you want to kind of have that dimension, so I recommend to use the foamy dots. And by the way, with this face, you can also use it individually and make a big Santa Claus. So you can get much, you can get a lot out of this design, definitely. So my Santa Claus face is almost ready, and just as a reminder, this piece that I'm gonna attach is the very last one, otherwise the eyes are gonna be completely visible, and I kind of want them to be covered by the hat a little bit. That's why this piece goes at the very end. This is, so now my face is ready. I'm just gonna make sure that it's aligned also, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue here and then at the bottom, so it's gonna hold very well. You can kind of see Santa Claus there stuck in the chimney. Just like this. So now it's time to use the last layer. And as I said, it could be a little bit tricky because the space is very limited at this point. But you can make it happen. And then when you put this piece, before you glue the layer, just make sure that this little door opens without any problem. And also before that, we need to glue it to this piece. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put glue on this section because I'm sure that section needs to be glued, and I'm gonna attach it this way. And then I'm gonna do this part. Oh, I think I put too much glue. This part didn't need glue, so it's just exactly where the little piece ends. And then I'm just putting a little bit here too. Just to make sure it's gonna hold this piece. And now I'm ready. And if you need to have this piece a little bit up comparing to the base, that's okay, because you need to have free space to open this little door back and forth. So I'm gonna leave it a little bit up, but just a little bit, not too much. And then I will cut the excess. You can kind of see here that I'm leaving a little bit outside, and that's what I'm gonna cut. And again, that part it will depend of how big you make your card. You may not need to do this, or you may need, as I did, because I made this one a little bit big. And now I'm just checking my card and it's folding without any problem. So now I'm gonna put together the ho ho ho. So this piece goes on top, and then the white one is the very first one. And the gray one that I have in my hands that you cannot see, now you can, is actually vinyl. And this one is gonna be on top of the green one, the green letters that say ho ho ho. So that's the order that you need to follow. So I'm gonna glue these pieces. This piece goes on top of the red one. Oh, I was putting it backwards. So make sure they are aligned before you glue them, otherwise you may have the same problem that I had. You barely notice it probably, but I wasn't gluing it right. I had to flip the red piece. And now I'm doing the last one. And now I'm gonna start attaching this on top of the green color. Well, it's kind of like it's gonna be in between. It's gonna cover a little bit of red color and also green. Just like this. And then you can see that it's gonna have visible red and the others. So I did the others already, just to save some time on this video. and I'm just attaching them right like this on top of my first piece, and these are gonna be right here. You can put them on top also, but it will be kind of heavy, so I would recommend to put it here instead. And I'm just using hot glue again to do it faster. So I put glue on the corners too, just to make sure the word ho 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 is very stable. And here you can add a message if you want to. So I'm just checking and it's folding with just fine. So now the last piece on top is the bell. So if the black piece doesn't fit, you can cut it a little bit just to make it fit. I'm using foamy dots for this piece also. And now my Santa Claus is pretty much ready. Now I just need to add these little pieces that go on top of the shoes. Just like this. So now let's create the envelope, which is also Santa Claus related. So I have my pieces of cardstock. I'm gonna cut the corners just like this at the bottom, because that will simplify putting these pieces together once I fold it. So you can see here now that they are gonna close perfect without touching each other, and it will be easier to glue, and it's not gonna look like tumultuous, you know, or like thick. So now I'm gonna put my two pieces just like this. They need to be aligned, and I'm just gonna put glue in one of them, and then I'm gonna put them together just like this, and I'm gonna do the same with this side. So now this piece goes on top, and just to make sure it's aligned and not moving, I'm gonna I think I'm gonna use a clip just to hold them like this, and then I'm just gonna lift this part and add some glue. That way I know it's exactly aligned to my envelope. And I leave this a little bit loose because it's the top of the kind of like the Santa Claus shirt. So now this piece goes like this also. This is for the belt, and goes like this, and this is kind of like an extra piece just to add dimension to that section. I'm using glittered cardstock to make it look different comparing to the white part, and also to a dimension. So this piece goes like this. Make sure it's aligned also to the other piece below, and then my belt goes right here. I'm gonna also put foamy dots on this piece. So I'm putting one piece exactly where the black piece goes, so it's not gonna move to either right or left side. And my envelope is ready now. So last thing I did with the base is I put this ribbon. I got it from Hobby Lobby last year, and I didn't have the chance to use it. And I also used this one from the Dollar Tree. So now I'm just gonna add glossy accents on top of the ho 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 letters, just to make them shiny. And you don't need to use ribbon. I did it because my base was kind of like very flat. It needed more color, more Christmas color. So once I'm done with this piece, I have to let it dry before I put the Santa Claus card inside of the envelope. Otherwise the glossy accents are gonna stick to the envelope. It will be a disaster. So make sure you let it dry. I'm also putting a little bit on the belt. So I'm gonna let it dry for a little bit. But you can kind of see that it's looking shiny already. And I think I'm gonna also add glossy accents on the eyes, so they look also shiny. So I made another envelope just to show you the different things that you can do. And the last thing I'm gonna do is, I thought, well, I need to keep this door closed, so I'm using this piece, this image from Design Space. So it's not part of the SVG design, but you can find it with the number that you saw on the image a little bit ago. And I added the text that says, "I'm stuck with Christmas." So I'm gonna glue same color for the chimney on top of my clip, so when I close the little door, it's not gonna look like it's a clip. And this is just an idea, you know, you can use different things to keep the door closed. Otherwise it's gonna be a little bit open, which is still good. But I thought it was a nice nice tip to do this. As an extra touch. So I'm gonna put this in the middle because I don't want to put glue on the part that separates in order to attach the two pieces, and I'm just putting glue all around to glue this piece, just like this. And now I'm just gonna cut any excess, just like this. So now I have my clip with the color, and then once goes on top, I'm gonna put it just like this, and it's not gonna look like a clip at front. And now this piece goes like this. So again, this piece is not part of the design, but you can find the image on Design Space, and then just add the message using any font that you have. Then once you open it, you can leave the message also attached. So I thought this was a cool idea in addition to the original design. So let's check the final result now. So I have my envelope, and then as soon as I open the card, it's gonna look like this. Then I fold it, and we can see all the different layers along with the message. And as soon as you remove it or separate the door, so you have Santa Claus face. And then you can remove the message and put it next to him, and still you can use the message with the door open. So thank you once again for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching Santa Claus, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and give me a thumbs up if you like this video.